Together, we're going to bring you some real talk, some actionable tools, and bold conversations that inspire you to show up, to step up, and stand out. Hi, everyone. You are in the studio with Natasha Crystal, with my co-host, Flo Wellington. We will be talking about leveling up is up to you. I think we can start off by asking or saying, what does leveling up mean to us? We can dive into certain experiences we went through, or just have a general conversation about it to give an idea what we want to speak about, what is leveling up, what does growth means, and we take it from there.
It's such a broad thing, hey? Like when you look at what leveling up means, it means different things to different people. You know, it could be leveling up in your personal life. It could be leveling up in your career. It could be leveling up as a family even, you know. People always think that leveling up is just such a personal and individual thing.
Yeah.
But there's so many layers and so many levels. And I just, in so many conversations that we've had, your story is so interesting for me, Tash. I want to know from you, what does leveling up mean? What does it mean for Tash?
Yeah. You know, leveling up is such a personal thing for me, Flo. I can go days where I speak about my experiences. I can dive into a lot of different things, right? I usually say I am a product of leveling up, and this is how this entire business started. How I decided I want to write a book on it. And now we're doing a podcast on it. So just to give you an idea, I usually say what made me level up in life. I lived on my own since 16 years old.
Oof.
You know? I was a school leaver in grade 9, but today I can tell you I have a degree in business management. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a mentor.
I mean, come on.
Yes, I serve in church. There's so many different things that I do. And leveling up speaks exactly to that, you know? From working in retail to call center admin and doing my own business now. So it's not... I usually say when people talk about themselves, it's proud moments because you went through certain things to get there, right? How do you get there, Flo? There's very many elements to it. I would say you should have a growth mindset. You have to create high performance habits that work for you. You cannot follow anyone else's things.
That work for you.
I
think that's such an important point about it, hey?
Yes.
You need to really dig into what your internal voice says to you.
Yes.
I think we look so much to the external about how opportunities can level you up, how people can level you up. And you forget often that just speaking to yourself in a particular manner, telling yourself certain things that, and it sounds cliche, but I mean, self-care is so important, you know?
Absolutely.
In terms of just the little small things to get to that point of the big levels, you know? And that's such a beautiful thing.
I have a thing where I say, even though you can make all these plans, you can goal them out, map them out, but if you wake up today and say, today I'm going to make sure to have an amazing day. At the end of the day, if you made that your goal, you're going to have an amazing day. When you wake up the next day and you say, I'm going to have a beautiful day, a week can go by, a month can go by. What will happen? You will have an amazing week. You will have a successful week. You will have a productive week. So even though we have these yearly goals, 6 months goals, I'm saying start with today. What are we waiting for? So now I want to go into becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. Sometimes we wait too long. I think we wait too
Because
long.
even just that, like you're saying, even just telling yourself to have an amazing day, there's so much that happens in a day. There's so much happening in your life as women, as parents, as partners, as siblings, career-wise, life in general.
Yes.
It's difficult for you to have a good day, and it's easy for you to say or tell somebody, no, just tell yourself have a good day. I mean,
Yeah.
But just that small moment, you look back. I mean, in a conversation we've had recently where I said to you, 3, 5, 10 years ago, you looked at a problem you had, and at that moment, it seemed like the worst problem for you at that time. But when you look at it now, you think, what was the problem? And it's the same thing with telling yourself, let's have a good day, or let's be nice, let's be kind, let's do better, let's feel better.
Yeah, and it's not easy, right? Because life
Can life you?
it's lifing us. Yes. It's really not easy, but I usually say, the same way you get up in the morning, take a shower, put on your clothes, it's the same way you need to put on your attitude for the day.
For sure. For sure.
We did some makeup today. It's the same way I had to put on my attitude today to say, am I going to win this day regardless of any obstacle? Regardless of any obstacle. So we can either choose to be negative or positive. Things happen all the time. The only moving thing in today's life is change. And we need to be adaptable, is it not? So coming back to leveling up is up to you. I'm saying when you level up your life, it really is a choice that you make. It's a choice that you make, whether it is for fitness, health and fitness, whether it is in your religious beliefs, whether it is whether you're studying or you're owning a business or wanting to start a business. My thing, where I want to get to is like, what are we waiting for? Start becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I hear you.
Fail hard, learn from it. Actually, I don't like the word fail. Do you know, I read a book of John C. Maxwell, and his title is, We Either Learn or We Win. Fail is in the background like a watermark, but scratched out. Because in today, we say, either I win or I fail. I actually mentioned it now, but I'm reminding myself, there's no failure. We're only learning. We're learning how to level up.
We learn or we win.
Yes. We learn how to level up. We learn how to become better people. We learn how to communicate. We learn how to love. We learn how to take care of our bodies. And that's leveling up, It's simple things. I don't want to actually preach the same things all motivational speakers are talking about. And we love them because it gives you that boost of encouragement. But what I want to do...
That small little oxytocin in that moment.
That you need, yes.
Yeah.
But what I want to do with leveling up, when I speak about leveling up, is I want to provoke something in someone. Because when I share my story on this podcast, when you share your experiences on this podcast, someone must say, wow, I am sitting in this back room now and I can actually do something with my life. Why am I mentioning a back room? Because I lived in a back room.
Right.
I know what it is, Why am I mentioning education? Because I left school. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. I feel you. And it again comes back to that thing of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. There was one session I had with somebody once where she said to me, you need to become okay with living beyond your limitations.
Yes.
Because as people, we tend to put sort of barriers around us. This is the kind of personality I have. This is the kind of background I have. This is the kind of, characters that I have. But we don't push ourselves beyond that. And that is what it takes to becoming uncomfortable. Because how do you grow? How do you level up? How do you interact with a different sort of field or energy level if you are not becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing where we want to, and growth. I'm going to come back to my point that I want to make now. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone.
For sure. Definitely.
Nobody, I usually say, I can work with people that want to change, that want to level up. I'm not saying I cannot work with those that have no direction or clue on where they want to be in life, because that is where I was. I had no clue what I want to do with my life, However, when you sit at home, no one is going to come knock on the door and say, here's an opportunity for you.
Like how social media says no one's coming to save you.
No one is coming to save you. I'm telling you. If you want to change your life, it's completely up to you. Every single choice that you make is up to you. And I want to go back to where when I speak to my children sometimes. My daughter is a teenager. And teenagers, they can drive you nuts. But I tell her, every single choice you make is yours.
Yeah.
When you are going to be an adult and you have no education, you cannot point a finger at me. If you're going to be an adult one day and you made a mistake, say, for example, teenage pregnancies, you cannot point a finger at me. I know not all of us get educated. I am speaking broadly now. But in a household where she gets taught certain values and principles and disciplines, I am saying every choice you make, it's up to you. It's you. You're going to live that life. You're going to have your own house one day. You're going to have a job one day. You're going to have a husband one day. You cannot blame your mom. You cannot blame your dad. So take what we're giving you right now. You understand what I'm saying?
And we only do our best.
Yes.
We can all only just do our best.
It comes back to us as people. Kids, teenagers, adults. Every choice you make is yours. So leveling up, when I speak about, I'm very passionate about it because I'm very passionate about people. How they think, how they are wired, what drives them, and what is the lack for you not to get to where you want to be? I'm very passionate to see how can I take someone by the hand and actually hold you from crawling to walking to actually running. And passing the baton. I say whoever is in my circle must leave or be better than me when I'm done with them.
Oof, I love that.
Not on my level, not lower than me, but better than me. When I put something inside of you, when I speak to you, when I work with you, when I talk leveling up mindset, growth, and how to elevate that, I am saying you need to go out here and something is provoked, activated inside of you.
That you can level up somebody else.
Absolutely.
That is an important thing. And I think we've lost that with the development of technology, with the development of how social media is progressing. We sometimes often just focus so much on the individual self.
Yeah.
We want to level up ourselves and we want to do better and we want to get to a better place. But we forget that you often need to place that in somebody else.
Yeah.
You need to plant a seed in somebody else.
Yes.
Because us as a generation, we're looking at what the previous generation has done for us to level up now.
Yeah.
What are we doing in this generation? What sort of seeds are we planting? What sort of inputs are we making? What sort of impact are we making in the next generation so that they can then fulfill that in coming generations, regardless of technology, regardless of this dreaded social media? And I say that lightly because we live for social media. We joke about how content is killing us, but I mean, everything is content, But in that still, your social media should speak to imparting something into somebody. Yes, it's fun and it's memes and it's reels and it's this and it's that and it's funny clips and it's videos. And yes, we post the serious stuff. But there are other things that we can do in those funny moments that somebody who's at home that's either feeling a little bit discouraged or who's feeling a little bit down or who needs a pick-me-up or who needs some kind of idea even.
Yes.
Just to spark some sort of energy in them to say, hang on, that relates to me, you know? And I think that's what I'm getting from where you want to go with leveling up is up to you.
Absolutely.
And I support that because for me, it's also about people.
Yes.
In the businesses that I run, in the sessions that I have with people in coaching and in training, it's so important for us to constantly be moving, you know, and having that thing progress. One thing I always say to people is you don't want to be irrelevant.
Yes.
Because, I mean, times are moving.
Times are
you know?
moving.
Times are moving.
It's so true. You know, you said something now about, but it provoked a thought in my mind where I'm thinking of, in today's life, it's no longer about competition.
For sure.
But it's about collaboration.
Ooh. Say that again. It's not competition, but collaboration.
Yes, ma'am.
Tasha's a meme, guys.
So I believe that, you know, because when you collaborate with different people and with different backgrounds, careers, I believe creative juices gets flowing, you know. Different ideas, brainstorming, putting the puzzles together. Everything today is, and this is where I want to go with this, is who is your circle? Who is your circle? Because are you in a competitive circle where you always feel that you need to show off, not show up? You know?
Wasn't it Oprah who said that if your friends are giving you attitude when you mention a certain achievement, then that means they are not your friends, right?
Yeah.
Who is your circle?
Who is
supporting you?
Yes.
Who is cheering you on?
Who is cheering you on? And for me, when you collaborate with someone, when you are in a room with like-minded people, you want to show up. You don't want to show off. You know? When I talk about show off is like, what does my outfit look like? Is my nails on point? Is my shoes okay? You know, showing off. Doing the social media posting. But when you're in the right room at the right times collaborating with people, you will make sure to show up. Not just for them, for yourself, for your brand, representing. And I feel like being in a room with like-minded people, you feed from each other. You teach each other. You grow with each other.
And you learn things about yourself
With those
sort of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I also want to touch on ownership. Ownership. I did say everything that you want to do in your own life is up to you, right? But when we speak about ownership, because I know you've done so many things for yourself, and obviously both of us we can have a conversation about it. What does ownership mean to you?
Ownership in the sense of
taking control of your life.
I hear you. An example I'm going to make. I've been in publishing for nearly 15 years. But I've moved into fashion, I think maybe 3-4 years ago. And that was a leveling up moment for me because that came out of nowhere.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
not something,
Come on.
that I ever thought that I would venture into. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always looking at business opportunities. But as a creative, that's not something that I was, ever really looking at doing. But owning my thoughts, owning my body, owning myself.
Yes.
It came from a point of getting out of postnatal depression.
Okay.
And it took me to that extent to look at what am I doing with my life at this point? Is the industry I'm in still serving me? Am I, as a person, as a creative, as an individual, continuously still growing?
Yeah.
And then that took me to the point of how else can I fulfill myself?
Yes.
You know, what other methods are there that I can push myself to the extent of going beyond just the creativity that I know?
Wow.
And that pushed me into fashion, you know. And now when I look back at it, it was a step up of owning myself.
Wow.
Because, you know, when you become a parent, it's you're living for that person that you created.
Yes.
And you kind of forget, you know, you forget the fashion sense that you used to have. You forget the hobbies you used to have, the things that you used to love doing. And that, again, brought me back to myself of saying, I love creating. I love doing things with my hands. I love using my mind in different ways.
Yes.
And that is ownership to me. And also in the capacity of not looking at somebody else to bring you to that point. Nobody is going to come and say, come, let's do something.
Yes.
You know, or come, let me get dressed, let's go. You know, you need to own that for yourself to get yourself out of that dark space.
Yes.
And yes, you need the assistance, but you need to really look yourself and give yourself a hard talk in the mirror and say, shit, man.
Yes.
You know? Get yourself together, you
Yes,
know? And that's what ownership means to me.
Yeah.
You know, taking charge of your energy, of your aura, of your space.
Absolutely.
Of that spirit that you've been gifted.
Yes.
That keeps you going every day.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
But you need to really, really look yourself in the mirror and be real with where you are and the resources that you have and how you can make that work.
Yes.
And slowly but surely, you get to a point where those tiny little inputs become bigger and bigger and bigger inputs, where now you are touching other people's lives.
Yeah.
You are now reaching out to other people and saying, look, I'm doing this thing. Can you assist me? And then they say, oh, I've got this person, and then now there's 5 of you.
Yeah.
That's leveling up.
Yes.
And then that 5 is growing and saying, let's do a bigger thing. Let's register a thing.
Yes.
Let's take this to another city.
Wow.
Let's, you know, now we're global.
Yes.
You know? Levels on levels on levels.
It's all about leveling
It's
up.
all about leveling up.
Yeah, you said something so profound about being real. Because I think so many of us, we live a fictional life. What does social media show people today? And we all love social media. I have nothing against it. I use it. I'm just saying, how many times do you look at yourself in the mirror and say, Tash, what the heck are you doing?
Why did you wear that today? Who are you trying to please?
My word. And just owning up to saying, am I real with myself? Am I loving the way I want to? Am I actually doing the things that I like? Or am I only people pleasing? So when we speak about personal growth or professional growth, I'm thinking it all comes back to being real.
Authentic.
With yourself first. Forget about everyone else. What do you like? What is your goals? What is your value system?
Sure.
What is the things that drive you or wakes you up in the morning? You know? And when you said about being real, I love that. I usually, when I talk, you know, I want to talk like Natasha. When I say something, I want to say it to them because I want to be raw and real. Because energy is important. People need to feel you. People need to be able to relate to you in what you are saying.
And you know that we are taught not to be our authentic selves. That is a generational thing.
Yes.
Especially for us as people of color. We come from a place of you need to present a certain way. You need to be less of a certain way. You need to talk a certain way to sound educated. You need to sound a certain way that people can either relate to you better or not think that you are less than them.
Less educated, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less educated, or you're from a better, like how we say, you are uppity. You must be uppity all the time.
You must my word.
But I love what you're saying in maintaining how we speak as people, the accent that we have,
Yes.
the nuances that we have, the slang that you have.
Yes.
Those things so often can also open up doors for you.
Yeah.
You know, people are looking for, as much as we can say that English gives you, you know, a level up.
Yeah.
But English is not our mother, you know.
And you know, I wanted to say my English data might run out, you know. Then I throw some Afrikaans in here.
It's fine. It's fine.
Because that's who I am. It goes back to owning who I am.
I love that.
Owning my voice. Owning who I am, what I want to present or represent, actually. You see, English just ran out.
English is running out. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's also what we want to do in this podcast. And we want people to feel so related to who we are as women, who we are as women of color.
Yes.
Who we represent in the industry.
Yes.
In our various capacities. And also presenting in a manner. Because you know, over the years, how people say, I've never seen people on TV that look like me. And now we are moving in an era of where TV is becoming the last option for where you get information. It's all on your phone.
Yes.
It's all in a podcast. We're listening, we're watching. And are we seeing enough of ourselves in that sort of representation?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where we relate as well in doing this sort of podcast.
Absolutely.
You know, where leveling up meant something very different to our parents and our grandparents. And how much are we now representing in that manner?
Wow. You know what, Flo? To level up, right? People would think I'm saying, because I didn't have an education and I have an education right now, that's the only leveling up I'm talking about.
There's so many other layers. Hey?
Right? I think the first thing is to have that ownership. That's the very first thing, to become comfortable in your skin, to become comfortable with who you are. So many of us deal with the problem of unworthiness or past traumas. But I actually want to say, you are worthy. You can level up. It does not matter where you find yourself. You are worthy. You are worthy of so much more, whether you have an education, whether you don't have an education, whether you grew up in poverty or privileged. It does not matter. So I think the first thing with leveling up is the biggest thing that I want to get across is start with you. Because that is why it's not just level up PTY LTD, level up podcast. It's a long word, but I'm intentional with it. It's a long sentence.
Leveling up is up to you.
I end with that. It's up to you.
It's up to
so
you.
you make that choice. You know, it's not easy. If you've been unloved, how do you start feeling loved? You know?
And how do you say, someone get goosebumps?
Goosebumps.
Get goosebumps.
So baby steps, day by day. If you want to change, you are able to change. If you want to start something, you can definitely start something. You don't have to wait until you have money. How many times did you have to wait until you have money, then you started something?
Oh, never. I always start with the intention of the money will come. The money will come.
Yeah. Jump in, do it wrong, and fix it as you go.
Do it wrong, do it scared, do it anyway.
Yes. So when you know what, when I think of leveling up, and you can just see, we spoke about a lot of different things in a short period of time. We spoke about mindset. We spoke a little bit about our experiences. We spoke about ownership, being real. And leveling up can go so much deeper than this. And this is the aim of this podcast, to take people with us on our journeys as we level up ourselves currently, and also sharing how and when we leveled up in our lives. The little things that we put in place for ourselves.
And imparting the tangible aspects of it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people will always say, you need to do X, Y, Z to get to from point A to point B. But they don't give you the direct steps in that.
Yes.
I think that's an important thing about what we want to get across through this podcast. We want to equip people not just to have a feel-good moment.
No.
But we want to equip you with, yes, our experience of how we leveled up and how we are still leveling up.
Yes.
But also give you tangible methods and tasks and, points on do this,
what
do
you
that.
can start
Because
doing
people,
today.
People can say, you just need to communicate, but you're not telling me how. And there's various levels of how you communicate with people, but nobody tells you the how. And I think that's also one of the things that we want to get across in this
Absolutely.
conversation.
In this conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel you.
Yes, I love conversations. I love engaging with people. I love seeing how people's minds work. It's one of the biggest joys I can get. This conversation with you currently is such a privilege, just to sit and talk with you, and we dive into different things. For me, I don't have a questionnaire list for you, Flo. And I know you don't.
And I don't have a questionnaire for you.
Please, never ever. This is not an interview. It's not going to be stuff. Next time I want my feet on the couches. No, I'm just joking. But, but what I want to say is a conversation or speaking and communicating about things that we went through, our experiences. It is so vital, so important. And I think it will add so much value to our young people out there. So much value to people going through things out there. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's possible to level up. It's possible
to level
up. It's possible to make something of your life. If you desire to make something of your life, you can
and you
make
will.
something of your life. Yes, absolutely.